everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Coffee Talk. And this morning, our favorite guest host, Mr. Bubba Grow and Mr. John Burgoyne. Hello, Mick. Good morning. So I figured today we would start out with Jimmy Hoffa. He's been with me all morning, and to my very big surprise, he has a huge sense of humor. So without further...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's one of my questions. How tall was he?
5'5".
Yeah, he wasn't a tall guy, but hold on. So here's everybody, hold on to your britches, because here is the theme song that Jimmy Hoffa has picked out.
I love it.
Just a jackknife has old Maggie, and it keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark bite with its teeth, baby.
All right, so there we have his very funny and appropriate theme song.
I know, especially the end of the song. He's the guys in center blocks under the ocean or in the river.
Yeah, right. Well, he picked that one. That was definitely not my pick, and like I said, I was rather surprised at his sense of humor. All right, and Jimmy's ready to go. And by the way, we have another visitor by the name of John Gotti that's coming in with him. They've made friends on the other side.
Of course. We'll see how
So,
he reacts to John Gotti too.
yeah, they're ready. What do we got for them today?
You want to start on me?
No, you're gonna start it.
Well, first of all, I want to know how tall was
Jimmy Hoffa.
Mr. Hoffa himself, because I heard he was a short man, but they said he was very confident and he carried a lot of charisma with him for being a man of his height.
Well, I heard also that, like he said, every time he shook somebody's hand, as short as he was, they felt like he was 6 foot.
He says it really doesn't matter the inches that you have to your stature. That's not what makes the man. What makes the man is the confidence. And with my amount of confidence, I was 7 fucking foot tall.
Yeah.
But in actuality, John, I was what you would have considered a short shit today. I'm about 5'5" when I was here. So they're right. So I didn't carry much stature physically, but energetically, my stature was huge.
Awesome. I have a question. So that confidence that you had as a young man when he became the union in, I think, for the division in Michigan, where he operated mostly, where did he get? I mean, was there something that happened in his childhood that caused him to have that confidence? Did he have a hard childhood? Was there somebody that inspired him, a father, a mother, an uncle, or a friend, anybody? Did it happen in young adulthood or teenage?
So he says that he had a rough childhood, that it was very poor and mostly was spent on the streets. And when you have that type of environment, you either learn to survive or you die. There's no way I was going to die. So I learned to survive. And what I found to survive, that whether you had that confidence or not, if you pervade that, if you were confident about how you were speaking, whether you felt it inside or not, that's how it started. Because you fake it until you make it, and that's pretty much what I did. Because when I was little, I was faking it not to get the shit beat out of my ass.
Awesome.
I have a question. And it goes along with the John F. Kennedy thing. Were you the main man that organized the assassination of John F. Kennedy?
No, there was no, there were no mob ties to that assassination. There's no conspiracy theory. There was a bunch of people that didn't like what he was doing the same way that they don't like what Trump is doing today. There was no mob undertone or connection to that murder.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Some people that knew you had a remark by saying that you were hot-tempered and a ruthless man. I mean, what would you say to that? Was that true?
I'd say thank you very much. I was. I had what you call a hair trigger. I had absolutely and completely zero tolerance for anything other than what my agenda was. And I had no compunction. I would pull that trigger or have somebody else pull that trigger without a second thought.
Did Jimmy Hoffa ever have his bodyguard Frank Sharon paint a house and send anybody to Australia?
No.
If he gets what I mean, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, no.
No?
Nope.
Okay. He never did it. Did Frank Sharon kill him?
Frank Sharon was one of the people involved in my murder.
Well, I know Frank Sharon was hired to kill him. He wasn't the only one, but did Frank Sharon pull the trigger?
He was present at the time. There were three. And
He didn't want to say.
he did
I
not.
think they were friends. I think they were friends.
They did
despite-
not. He did not pull the trigger. The other thugs did, but they beat me up first. They beat the shit out of my body, and then they fired the shots. One.
One
One
shot.
How did I know it's still a mystery to everyone. Where is Jimmy Hoffa? Is it true that you were incinerated?
No. So now I'm going to reveal why I played that theme song. They cut me up in little pieces and they took me out to the fishes. And you know how they say swim with the fishes? I was fish bait. There was no way, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that they would find any part of my body to have any kind of link to blame whoever did it. I fucking hated football. I don't care what anybody said. They didn't burn me in the football field. I was
That is-
shark bait.
I love it. I mean, the theme song. You have a very good sense of humor about it.
I mean, what
He
was
says,
it?
he says, well, yeah, you gotta have a sense of humor. I picked this shit before I even came here.
True.
Now, let's see. It was Tony. He was supposed to meet with Tony. God, what's this guy's name? I had it written down somewhere. He was supposed to meet with a guy named Tony at the restaurant the last day that he was on Earth. He was supposed to meet with this guy named Tony who was in the mob, and they were supposed to kind of, I guess, mend some bad blood between them or something, or regain their friendship or what have you. And apparently, Tony never showed up. And when later interviewed, Tony said that he never had any. He had an airtight alibi, and he never said that he wanted to meet with. He didn't have any recollection of saying he was going to meet with Hoffa in the first place. Was that true, or?
I'm gonna call bullshit. That's what he
Okay.
just said. I call bullshit on that entire thing. He suckered me in.
Were they jealous that you were going to regain power again in the Teamsters? Because you had went to jail and you had signed your pardon was based on you never again getting involved with the union Teamsters. And were they scared? Was the new union president scared that you were going to regain power, or was it the mob, or was it both?
It was a union between both. There are many, many, many enemies that I had in the mob because they were jealous of what kind of power I could wield
Correct.
with the union. So there were many there that had it out for me. And you know I didn't give a fuck.
Correct.
I was who I was. And there is one small weak spot that they could have gotten me with, and that was Tony. And they knew it, and they used it.
Wow.
They were not only afraid of what I was going to do with the union, but they were afraid of what I was going to do in the family, the mob, once I attained the power of all those people in the union. So it was a conjunction, it was a combined effort between the two, which
Awesome.
nobody will talk about today.
No, I don't think so.
So let me ask you, what do you and John Gotti do now for fun?
Well, something that has just really surprised me, I guess I should never be surprised, but he says we work with kids. We work with street kids. We work with gang members.
Wow.
And we do this to help them understand that that type of mentality will not get them anywhere. We work together. We hang out. We have fun, you know. We hang out with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. We hang out with the Rat Pack.
Wow.
Yeah, we hang out with all the old mobsters.
Do you have any regrets from your past life?
No, not even one. Not even one. I'm pretty proud of who I became and how I became it and where I came from is what makes it so amazing to where I went. Regrets? No, there are no regrets. Would I have done anything different? I wouldn't have hooked up with Tony.
Were you writing a book before you got murdered?
No.
Really? There was rumors about that.
Well, he's he just looked at me and he's like, "Am I fucking stupid? A book? They'll know who wrote it."
He said that on TV, so we're just...
Right. That's what he says. No, he says, I would never have revealed any of that. My thoughts I would write down for myself, but that was not anything of makings of a book.
So Mr. Sheeran supposedly was the last.
Frank Sheeran.
Yeah, he was supposedly the last one to see him. He was the last one. He said he murdered him, and that they were so close, and that the reason he murdered him is because he wouldn't have suspected it because they were so close. And he's on his deathbed whenever he's saying this, so none of that is true.
No, what he said was that was him trying to ride on my coattails. That was him trying to get the limelight. He was pissed off, actually, that he wasn't the one that offed me. As an old man trying to get some recognition for some shit he didn't do.
Before he died.
Before he died.
Wow. Has Jimmy ever been reincarnated or
He goes, nah, not yet.
not yet?
Not yet. I'm having way too much fun over this side. There is no pressure. No
Did he-
cares.
Did he ever feel? I know that he made loans to the mob to basically build Vegas. Did he feel guilty about taking the pension money and, of these workers and doing that and being involved in that? Does he regret that?
No. He doesn't regret it. And what he says is that it was his intention to triple, quadruple that pension money.
Pension.
And that was his intention, whether the way he went about it or not. He says it wasn't ethical, of course not. But it was my full intention to replace everything 4 times over.
Wow. That was pretty awesome. Did that ever happen?
No, because There are so many people under me because I needed help. I had so many hands and so many different things, and so many that I had people to help me under me. So the people under me made it something else, and they got greedy. But it was my full intention when I used that money to reinvest and quadruple their money. That way I felt like they would be, okay, fine, he took it, but I got something back. I didn't lose anything.
Correct.
Yeah. Was your wife? Were you ever worried that your wife was in any danger because of anything you've done?
When you're involved in that kind of activity, that is always a distinct possibility that your family could be a hit, could be a target. Firstly, her family, her father was in the mob, so she was somewhat protected no matter what I did, because her father wouldn't allow anything to happen. But no, because of that reason, I wasn't worried for her or anyone in my family.
Wow.
I hid them. Don't get me wrong. I took measures to not put them in the limelight or in harm's way. But I was confident that there were no overt operations to get to me that way.
During Jimmy's time in prison, did he have any protection because of his mob connections, or did he get protection because of his connection as a Teamster looking out for the working man? Or how did he get any protection at all, or did he get any recognition being a prisoner?
Special treatment.
Special treatment.
Well,
from
oh
other
yes,
prisoners.
oh yes, I did get special treatment because of the way I carried myself and my 7-foot energetic stature. I could pretty much make anybody do what I wanted.
Was
So
that the only way? Was that I mean, other than the fact that the way he carried himself, his connections didn't have any influence on that?
They did. They absolutely did. And he's telling us this because he says, in prison it can go both ways. You can be protected or you can be a target. But because of my energetic stature, because of my reputation, the people that would harm me were frightened and respected me. So I got protection that way. But there were also people in prison that just thought I was the best thing since sliced bread because of everything I did. Not only the Teamsters, but, everything. So they also protected me. The detractors, the ones that would harm me, were way too afraid of everybody that was protecting me.
Correct.
I can see that.
I do want to thank him for what he did do for the working man, because I think today's I guess as a nation today, I don't think we'd be as far as we are with safety and other things on unions and things like that if it wasn't for him, if he didn't come and do and has done what he's did.
Well, he says you're welcome, and what he wants to say is, how everything, or lots of things, lots of great things start out with chaos and turbulence. He says, so yeah, I did start that, and it's amazing, and it goes on today to where the working man is protected. But it started out with turbulence, which we all know is my darker side of that part of it. And I want to remind everybody, same thing is going on today. There's a whole lot of chaos, but it will lead to planting the seeds that will help humanity in the future.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Well, he's always made me, and not just him, everybody, John Gotti, everybody. I'm just in love with the mob. Always wanted to be part of the mafia. It's one of my other sides. I just love it. And so it's so interesting to me. And I think I would love the lifestyle.
Well, he says, Bubba, you look the lifestyle, you look the part. But my friend, your heart is way too big to be involved with any of that. You could not deal.
Exactly.
Sometimes Bubba gets mad at me. I hold too many secrets sometimes. We get in fights over that. I guess I've learned from experience from opening my mouth. I've gotten in trouble in the past with gossip, and so I've learned that I just store things away, and that just pisses Bubba off sometimes. It's crazy.
And then you could see my mafia side come out.
It's probably like my New Jersey. I ever tell everybody, don't make me bring out Jersey. You won't
That's
like
right.
it.
Yeah.
Do not make me bring out Jersey.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
Eric have a question?
It's all something to work on, though, John. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I mean, we all try to protect people that we love without, wanting to spread rumors or do whatever. And we don't perceive sometimes that they feel they're holding it back, that we're holding back.
Correct. We don't realize
You
it.
don't realize that. Nope. Nope. So, any other questions for?
We don't have any questions from anybody else. I guess the last question is, of course, Eric.
All right. Eric, what do you got for us, man? He's going like this because he's got a couple. Let's pick one.
Use your gut, Eric.
Come on, eh? Pick one. Really, you gotta always pick those. All right, fine. Eric wants to know from Jimmy, don't smack me, Jimmy. What was it like to be in Las Vegas with all those showgirls? And he had his pick of many because of because of who he was. What was it like? He just looked at Eric and he goes, "It's good to be king." And Eric said, I can't argue with that. So there's Eric's question and answer, because he was going off a little bit like, like spiritually. How do you think this affected blah, 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 blah. And then he was like, no, I like the other question. But really, spiritually, I'm like, pick one. So he went with his usual on that.
Eric, so.
All right. So that's it for another edition of Coffee Talk with Celestine Grace, my friends Bubba Grow and John Burgoyne, Eric, Jimmy Hoffa, and our special guest, John Gotti, who just hung out for the interview. Thank you, everybody.
Right. We love all of y'all. We love y'all. Eric, Celestine, Holly, Jimmy, John, thank you.
And by the way, may I give a shout out to Holly Bartlett Johnson, who does all the editing, who does all this. She's my fly girl who does and keeps me on schedule. And
She's amazing.
She's amazing. And I just can't thank her enough. So we will see everybody very soon.
Thank y'all.
Much love.